Hey guys, thought I would do a video today on the Taurus Spectrum. Uh, I own a H&K 40. It's difficult to carry because it's so big. It's a great handgun for home defense. I love the way it shoots, love the way it handles. It's really big to conceal it well. I'm not a big fan of having carrying around with a handgun that everybody can see it. I like it to be hidden and ready to go where I know where it is, but nobody else does. I looked at a lot of different options and chose the Taurus Spectrum for a couple of reasons. One, its concealment is really well. It's nice and small. Here's the Spectrum here now. As you can see, there's no clip. And it is empty, so we're totally safe to do whatever we want with it right now. It has these really great smooth edges. It's designed mainly so you can put it in a pocket, pull it out. It's not going to snag on anything. Also, there's no safeties on this handgun. It's a striker fire, so there's no hammer to worry about. Your safety is the trigger pull, which is fairly difficult, but it's manageable. Those are the really good points on it. There are some bad points about it, and there has been a lot of videos out there talking about these, and I'm going to address those today and show you how I took care of them the best I could tell. First, the sights. The sights are horrible, okay? They're these little tiny bumps that come off of the slide. It's the same color as a slide. They're next to impossible to see. Keep in mind now, though, this handgun is a point and shoot, close contact. You're not going to be shooting out 50 yards. The sights may not be quite as important on this handgun as it would on others, but still I didn't like them. So what I did was I went ahead and grabbed some fluorescent yellow fingernail polish. And as you can see, I went ahead and hit that fingernail polish. That glare is pretty bad on there. Here and here. And a couple coats of that, and then a couple coats of clear coat. And it really pulls out the contrast, so it's easier to see down the line of the barrel. So that was the first thing that I did. The second issue that I saw a lot of videos on were the misfeed issues. So first thing I want to do is I want to tear it down and I want to show you what I did. This is one of the other great features about this handgun. You don't need any tools. There is a little attachment, a little deal right here that you just give it a quarter turn. I take a shell and use the back end of the shell right there. Give it a quarter turn, and it just slides right off. And you can see now this is the inside of the barrel and the slide. What you do is the spring is pretty stiff, so get your finger on this. You just pull up on that spring, take the guide out. The barrel comes right out, and that's as far as you have to go to clean this handgun. So what you've got here on the inside of this barrel, so if you've got this little ramp, and this ramp right here doesn't come super smooth, especially this front edge right here, right there. So what I did was I took some emery cloth, and I worked for about 15-20 minutes, just back and forth on this thing, just getting this as smooth as I could possibly get it. That was a crisp edge. Now it's a nice rounded beveled edge. And it seems to really have taken care of the problem. So let's go back together with this thing, just so I can show you how easy it is. It's not as easy going back as it is coming out. So you lay the barrel down in there. Again, remember this is a pretty stiff spring. So you put the spring up here at the front, and you guide that pin, a guide rod, up through that hole. And it lays right down on top of that part of the barrel right there. You just kind of line it up the best you can, and there it sits right in place. Right now you see I've got this thing cocked off a little bit, so just kind of line everything up, make it all nice and straight. You take your frame, you set this back on there, and you're ready to go. It's that simple. It's one of the really great features that I like. It's so easy to take apart, clean, put it back together, and you don't need any big tools to do it. So the other issue that I found that other people have talked about is magazine retention. Here's your release for your magazine is right here on both sides. It only works one direction, but this little mechanism here through here, you can undo it, flip it around, and you can have this work from either way depending if you're left-handed or right-handed. I'm right, it comes right, I'm happy with it. It's got a little pin, and that little pin energizes that little notch right there. So what I was finding is that this takes a real good bump to get this thing up there. There's not a shell in there, so it actually did go kind of nice this time here. When you put a bunch of shells in there, you have to really give this a good wallop to get it to seat. And what I was finding was that there is no gap right here where this butts up. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if this is stopping this from going up all the way it can up into the slide and the barrel area inside the frame, that shell could be sitting a little below the ramp, so it's not got a nice smooth transition up that surface into the barrel. So the first thing I did was I took this apart, and again, everything on this handgun is so easy to work on. You got a little pin right here. You push down on the pin, you slide this forward. Again, be careful of that spring. And now your clip is apart, and you've got the butt plate right here. So I took the butt plate on a piece of sandpaper on a sanding block, and I just worked this. Now, warning to you, don't go fast. Don't do it a lot. Go a little bit at a time. Take little amounts off. Try it. Fit it, try it, fit it, you know, go back and forth until you have it so it's a nice smooth. And I found that taking off that clearance, getting just a tick more clearance on there, made it so that it would slide up and lock in way better. And that's not going in. It's probably because I've got it on backwards. There we go. All right, so now we got that in there, and it's not coming out. Here's the other thing that I didn't care for on this handgun, and you really couldn't see this on a lot of the videos that I saw before, was putting this handgun in your hand. As you can see, I mean, I got a good sized hand, but the best you're going to get is 2 fingers. You got this pinky just dangling around out here. So this is a 2-finger gun, and my bottom finger is really not fully on there. It's kind of half on there. So 1.5 fingers, it doesn't give for a real stable platform. So I wanted something a little bit more. I had a friend who owned a Bodyguard 380. And on his Bodyguard, he had this little extension on there. And I went, wow, I wonder if this would work for me. So I went ahead and we took this butt cap off, took this extension, and lo and behold, it slid right in there, locks in place. It has the same pin. It was amazing. And I went and stuck it in there, and look, this is the problem that I've got. And you can see it right here, is there is now a huge gap right here. Now, a little bit of slop there. It's retained, so the top of the clip is where it should be. I just don't like that big old grip. But I do have now 3 fingers on there. But I'm thinking there's got to be a better way to do this. And if Garrison Grip, who makes this clip extension here, did it for this one, I wonder if they have one for the Taurus, which they don't, because the reason why they don't is because Taurus has an extended clip that they sell from the factory. So there's the Taurus clip. and it's got this little curved piece here. So when you get there, you can get 2 fingers on there, and your third one is kind of hanging below it. It kind of goes into that little recess. I still don't like it. It's not as much as I want on there. My pinky is still kind of dangling underneath there. So back to the R&D stage. I took this bodyguard clip back off, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to try and work with Garrison and see if we can't get something different. So I looked at the Taurus 738. The Taurus 738 does have an extension that Garrison Grip has. It's a great size, great shape. It's a little bit snug, but it does slide on and it does lock in place. And here's another problem on that. Right now you can see we have this tab on the bottom of the frame that interferes with the Garrison Grip back end. All right, so this is fixable. What I did was, let me put this back in for you. I took this line that's right here and I extended that up, and I made a mark on that Garrison Grip extension. I took this off. Let's pop that back in place there. And I took it to the belt sander, and I looked at that line, and I ground off about that much. And again, don't go crazy on this on the first time. Take a little bit off, try it. Take a little bit off, try it. Remember what one of the great features about this handgun is that it's got all smooth edges. My idea was to try to keep everything as smooth as I could. So, this is my final product. And you can see from the profile of the original one versus the new one, this is about what I took off right there. And then also what I did was I made sure that this was nice and round, that the profile here was nice and around over the top this way, so it's a nice, smooth, no snag, you don't feel it. And this was the ticket. This goes in there, snaps in place, it goes up real good. There's just a tick of play here, but not much to be concerned about. The magazine is fully seated and retained by the pin, so the bullet coming out of the top of the clip should be in the right place. And best of all, 2 fingers. Look at that extra I got there. There's 3 fingers. I still have that little edge sticking out to the bottom, so I have full 3 fingers on that grip, which makes for a extremely good tight grip on this, which is what I like. So final product, I've got 3 fingers on the grip for stability. I've got nice rounded edges. I got a clip that pops in and stays real easy, goes up there real nice. I got now sights that I can see down the barrel well. All these things I think have turned into a really nice little handgun for concealment. You can put it in a pocket inside your waistband. It's a 380 auto, 6-shot, single stack. And took me a little bit of work, but I've taken it to the range. I've got about 200 rounds through it. I have not had one misfire. It's very accurate, 7 to 15 yards. I'm hitting 8 rings all day long. So I'm very happy with the final product. I hope this helps you in deciding of the kind of handgun that you would like. Taurus Spectrum doesn't have as bad a rap as a lot of people put it out to be. I think it's a really nice product. That's all, guys. Talk to you again soon.